Good evening to you all. A very good amalgamated evening to you. This is Pip Cleverly here at Radio WGY, bringing to you commentary of the first of a three-game series towards the tail end of the season between the New York Haberdashers, who are the away team. Not bad right now, Trevor Knockmore, hitting that one foul into an 0-2 count. And he's going to strike out to Anatoly Smorin of Amalgamated Baseball Holdings, ABH as we affectionately call them. My name is Pip Cleverly, play-by-play announcer for Amalgamated Baseball Holdings and Radio WGY, and of course part-time employee of the Amalgamated Factory. Of course, is Amalgamated Radio, and that will be caught by Dean Westry in right field, making the out number 2 for Stokely Hathaway. Here's Whiny Jagoff for New York Haberdashers. And we are here in lovely Schenectady, New York, as the crowd is full of Amalgamated employees. And we're going to get things started. Whiny Jagoff with a home run to industry. Right to right field. Not a chance for Mr. Westry to even make a play for that one, and that is brought to you by Industry and their brands of fragrances, perfumes, colognes, and aftershaves for after when you shave. Everything smells good, and everything's coming up Industry. Stump Phillips is going to line that one right to the third baseman. Today is Carl Danilton, makes the throw to Glenn Allen Mixon playing first base today. So a bit of a shake-up. Both teams late in the season, Amalgamated Baseball Holdings sitting at 15-21. New York Haberdashers 17-19. Both are sadly out of contention for Continental League Championship. That is left to Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia at this time. But as we do see with Todd Gonzalez coming off of a huge series. A huge series against the Philadelphia Brown Trousers, where ABH went on the road and took all 3 games of that series. Todd Gonzalez had 7 RBIs in one of those games. And he's going to be moving to third base as Bobson Dugnut almost goes for second, but a fantastic throw by the outfielder. I believe today that would be Ren Bugby. And potential fancy Dan double play, overthrown and out of play. So advancing a runner is Dean Westry. 1 out recorded. Dean Westry advances to second. Here's Mike Truck, the pride of Schenectady, New York. He's going to double that one. It's got to be a double at his speed, and with that sort of bat power, it's going to be 2-1 now for Amalgamated Baseball Holdings here in the bottom of the first. Ray McSriff, the backup catcher for Raul Chamberlain, has been starting quite a bit as of late. He's been a competent batsman, batting .255 on the season. Facing the ace of the New York Haberdashers, Herzl Good, who's 4-2. And that is going to be strikeout number 33 for Mr. Good, leading the Haberdashers in strikeouts, especially among the starting pitchers, as you would imagine. That's going to be a quick one for Kevin McGillney, playing left field today. That is slide out to Stump Phillips, also playing left field. Here's Murky Goodbar, top of the second, with a 2-1 lead for ABH. Anatoly Smorin takes the mound again. Smorin, 1-4 record, a whip of just under 1.9, an ERA of 8.25. Not been the best season for Mr. Smorin, but if the bats can come alive, then I think that he might have a chance. Again, the saving grace here, as of course an employee and supporter of Amalgamated Baseball Holdings, is to let you know that in the earlier counterpart of this series, the 3-game series that were played at the Rockefeller Oval in Yonkers, New York, the home, of course, of the New York Haberdashers, Amalgamated Baseball Holdings did in fact take all 3 games of that series. So they have the number of the Haberdashers. Of course, at that time, both teams were jockeying for first place early in the season. Unfortunately, not the case anymore. But a sign of things to come, I think, is what we can see. We see that from the series against the Philadelphia Brown Trousers, a championship caliber team, we see that ABH have the capability to put some offense together and really stick it to one of these other teams. As we're seeing, that's going to be out right to Dean Westbury. Second out, top of the second. Here is Bottomley Samplemore coming in as the backup catcher behind Doug Lumps.
Inside.
He will start today. And Samplemore, not been a bad batsman. He's going to get on with a single. Samplemore's been batting 207. Not that many plate appearances, 32 plate appearances, so a small sample size for the backup catcher. But you know, late in the season, you want to get some of your players more of a look, see what you need to work on in the off season, who you need to work with, and where you can develop your skills and perhaps make improvements as we enter 1920, and as we'll be roaring into the 20s, of course. The Continental League season. There's a double steal, but it's not going to matter. It's a strikeout. And we go to the bottom of the second. 2-1 the score. Carl Dandleton, bottom of the lineup for ABH in this one. Dandleton, Glenn Allen Mixon, and the pitcher spot, Anatoly Smorin. But Dandleton will go high and far with this one. It's going to reach the warning track, and it's caught by Ren Lugby. And Carl Dandleton has been a fantastic fielder at third base, but unfortunately we've not seen quite a lot from him behind the plate, or at the plate. He's batting 237. And we're seeing Glenn Allen Mixon batting 250, not that many plate appearances. He's going to ground out right to first base. That is going to be Murky Goodbar, a stalwart for the New York Haberdashers. This is, of course, the first of 3 games in the series here at Amalgamated Baseball Grounds. That's going to be out right to the glove of Boob Jenner. End of 2, it's still 2-1 for Amalgamated Baseball Holdings. They are looking quite up for this one after a 3-game series win, taking a sweep of the series against Philadelphia. New York lost the series 2-1 against Chicago, a couple of struggling teams, sad to say. Again, Chicago, a team out of the playoff contention, down just to Milwaukee, who are in, I believe, in the driver's seat, as it was said. With the two Pennsylvania teams breathing down the proverbial necks in the sense of the Pittsburgh Presbyterians and the Philadelphia Brown Trousers, with the final 2 series of the game. And looking at the schedule, I must say, I certainly hope I can get some information on that Philadelphia versus Pittsburgh series, which will conclude the season. Might have some championship implications should the Dutchmen not be able to lock things up earlier there. But I think they are in the saddle. They do control whether or not. I think there will come to be a time where if they just keep winning, that should do it here. We're seeing a 2-2 count with 2 outs. Stump Phillips up. That is well played by Todd Gonzalez. It did touch the ground, so he had to make the throw to Glenn Allen Mixon for the 3rd out. Another 0 on the board for the Haberdashers. In the bottom of the 3rd, it's Todd Gonzalez. 1 for 1 today. He's batting .359, 30 RBIs on the season. A distant second to the league leader, Mike Trout, with 42. But amazing run support. It's just the pitching that I think Amalgamated Baseball Holdings will have to look at in the offseason. Assess if there's any new players that need to be recruited from the factories. Perhaps any sort of new pitching training regimens, or if perhaps that the 24-hour mandatory part-time work schedule is a bit too much. Of course, we do extend to an 84-game season next year. The commissioners are talking, and the office are talking about extending it over a longer period of time than just taking this 2-month period and then doubling it. So that's good. I think that will give some more rest and allow these athletes, who are also just humans, to recover properly and get their proper doses of horse tonic into their veins and their lungs and stomachs and whatever other organs they insert them into. Hathaway going to dive onto that one, and Stokely Hathaway making the throw to Murky Goodbar for out number 2. Here's Mike Truck. He did have that double to center fields early in the game. And he's going to hit right to Stokely Hathaway. The throw to Goodbar is out in time. And we end 3 innings with the score still 2-1. All those runs scored in the first inning. Here's Mookie Goodbar just making the play. The first baseman, Mookie Goodbar, quite the batsman for the Haberdashers. Bit of a slump lately, but he's batting .308. He's second on the team in RBIs. Second to Stump Phillips. He's about 24. 130 at-bats. 40 hits on the season. 7 home runs. And he is working that count into a full count. He's going to walk. And that is his 5th walk of the season. And here is Ren Bugby, a batsman that has worked his way into the side. He's not got as many plate appearances or at-bats, 78, but 35 hits from it. He's going to hit into a fancy Dan double play. I was going to say Ren Bugby is batting a massive 449. But that Fancy Dan double play was brought to you by Fancy Dan Follicle Products. Put more fop in your quaff with Fancy Dan's Follicle Products and their vast selection of styling gelatins, salve-based crimping products, pomades, and shampoos where you can have your hair smell good, be clean, and then put on some gelatin afterwards and have it look exactly to your liking. It's Fancy Dan's Follicle Products. Put more fop in your quaff with Fancy Dan. That was a quick play to first base, and here's Ray McSriff at bat. So a quick 1-2-3 inning for the Haberdashers. Ball 1 by Herzl Good. That should be an easy one for Trevor Knockmore, and the out is made to Murky Goodbar for out number 1. Is Kevin McGillney. McGillney not having not been a regular in the side too often, but when he has, he's done quite well. He's actually not been at bat too often. He's batting .364, but again, that's only from 12 plate appearances, 11 at bats, 4 hits, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. You have to wonder why we haven't been why the manager's not been starting Kevin McGillney a little bit more often. He is on first, and here is Carl Dandleton. I think the problem is with Kevin McGillney is he's always going to be second to Mike Truck when it comes to starting a man. But you can fit him into the outfield somewhere. That's always good. Mike Hernandez has usually been the left fielder, so again, Kevin McGillney in for him, and Dean Westry in right field. But you can find a way to do it, and it looks like there seems to have been, I guess on that play, Carl Dandleton seems to have been a little injured. We'll get more word on that in a second, but to industry, Glenn Allen Mixon. It sounds like 3 names. It's just 2, but it is 1 home run to industry. And now the pitching spot, Anatoly Smorin coming in. No, he will not. Daryl Archideld will come in to bat as a pinch hitter for the pitcher spot. Here's Herzl Good. So 4 innings will be enough for Anatoly Smorin. But a 2-run home run by Glenn Allen Mixon. And Daryl Archideld will, in fact, fly that one out. So in comes Mario McIlwain. Interesting to see here. We got the closing pitcher. He's become more of a reliever than we're used to seeing. And yes, Carl Dandleton will have to leave the game. Mike Hernandez coming in. Kevin McGillney moving to third base. Not a typical spot for him, but he is going to be at third, and it will move Mike Hernandez into left field. So an injury, unfortunate to happen. But, it is part of the game. And we're top of the 5th now. With a runner on, it is Herzl Good. Not a bad batting pitcher, for the times he's been at bat. He's got a respectable average of .318. 7 hits at 22 at-bats. So nice to add that to your offensive firepower, if you will. Trevor Knockmore is going to line that one right out for out number 1. Here's Stokely Hathaway is going to go. That's going to go over Mike Truck's head to the warning track, and he's in with a stand-up double. Still 4-1, but runners on second and third. Brings up Whiny Jagoff, who has the home run and the single, so he is 2 for 2 today. And that's going to make it 3 for 3 with another RBI. Perhaps 2. No, just the one. Excellent fielding by Truck. Prevents Hathaway from getting to home. He's at third base, and it's Stump Phillips. Again, leading the team in runs batted in. He's going to add another one to that tally. It's going to be a single for him, but the throw is made, and Whiny Jagoff is caught out at third base. Brilliant throw by Mike Truck to get out number 2. It's still 4-3, so we're not out of the woods just yet. That's going to go high and far, and it's going to go to industry and give the Haberdashers the lead in this game. And the lead is just evaporating for Amalgamated Baseball Holdings, to the point that it has now gone away and been given to the Habs with a 4-run inning so far. And Mario McElwain, 14 pitches, has decimated the lead that was built up by Amalgamated Baseball Holdings. That is going to be an easy out by Dugnut to Mixon. But we enter the bottom of the 5th with Amalgamated Baseball Holdings down by a run to the Haberdashers, and you can feel the tension in this this in-state rivalry game. Again, both teams out of the playoff picture, but they're playing for pride. The Haberdashers do not like the fact that they were beaten all 3 times at their home ballpark by ABH, but ABH would like to defend their turf. That's going to be out to Whiny Jagoff for the first out. That's a catch. Popson Dugnut up now for ABH. Herzl good. Give a bit of a scratch of the tuchus. And throws the first pitch. It's low for ball 1. That's going to be a ground ball right to right field. Whiny Jagoff with the play, and it's going to be a single for Dugnut. Here's Dean Westry. Swings at the first one for strike 1. He's batting .265 on the season before today. And a very slow attempt to steal by Bobson Dugnut. He's going to be caught out stealing at second. And just not the kind of effort you like to see. This is going to be popped out, and it's going to fall foul. So Herzl, bottomly Samplemore, unable to make that one nor that one. 2-2 the count. Westry still alive. Fills it up 3-2. And he's going to strike out. Looking is Dean Westry. Gives a bit of a look to the umpire. That's strikeout number 10 for Mr. Westry. Not getting any sympathy from the umpire. And we start things off with Boob Jenner, the bottom of the lineup for the Haberdashers. Boob Jenner batting .280 today. He's going to ground that one right to Kevin McGillney, who's moved to third base. And the throw to Glenn Allen Mixon is out number 1 here in the top of the 6th. Bottomly Samplemore, the catcher, not a very strong batsman. He's batting .207. That's going to be out. Again, usually second choice to Doug Lumps when it comes to catching, but lately they've been working with Stump Phillips as the option. That's going to be flown out to Dean Westry for out number 3. That was Herzl good, flying that one out. Here's Mike Truck, good person to start things off. Herzl good, still in this game. Bottom of the 6th, he's pitched 58 pitches in 5 innings. You do your math, that's just under 12 per inning, so not too bad. That's going to be popped up and foul, caught by Samplemore, and here's Ray McSmith. That's hard. I must say the Haberdashers are going to be hanging their hat on the fact they kept Mike Truck fairly silent, especially in important places. He did get that double in the game early on, but he's been That's his only hit of the game. He's 1 for 3. And here is Kevin McGillney. 2 outs. That's 1-1 the count for Herzl Good. His pitch count up to 65. Big swing. Strike number 2. That's up for strike. For ball 1. Ball 2, rather. And that's ball 3. Low and inside. Builds up the count. Gets him to swing. And that is going to be a strikeout. So at the end of 6, it is 5-4 New York Haberdashers with the lead. And here's Trevor Knockmore, the leadoff hitter, not having a great day at the plate. He's batting .299 going into today. That's going to drop quite a bit. He's got 21 runs batted in, 6 home runs, 44 hits, but also 12 strikeouts. And Mario McElwain is going to get him to line out to Bobson Dugnut. McElwain has not been the strongest of... well, they're going to go with a double switch. Kevin McGillney is going to come out. Willie Dustis will go to third base. Of course, he has more acumen. He's more acclimated to play third base. And Tim Sandeli, who's got a record of 2-2, 16 strikeouts on the season. Only pitched about 35 in third innings. Got a whip of about 1.6. His ERA is just over 6.5. So again, not the best pitching statistics, but again, Mario McElwain has not been having the best of years as well. So really, the pitching for ABH, as we see, as another run will score on that double from Whiny Jagoff. Here's Stump Phillips. It is 6-4 for the Haberdashers, and the pitching again letting down the team from Schenectady. That's going to be thrown to right from the pitcher, right to Glenn Allen Mixon for out number 2. Milky Goodbar up to bat. That's going to be, they might potentially be calling for the intentional walk. It's interesting to see that. That's 2 pitches. A third, and it looks like they will in fact walk Milky Goodbar, putting runners on first and second. And here is Ren Bugby. Bugby not having a good day, 0 for 3 today, but he's been getting his share of starts. Again, getting 449. And he's having over 3 at-bats per game. So that is officially a very impressive statistic. He's going to ground out 1 out, but it surpasses Mike Truck, who is going into this game at 428. Stump Phillips will be coming out. A couple of fielding changes for the Haberdashers as we enter the bottom of the 7th. Nipples McBride coming into left field, Gauze Blacksmith at first, and Hubie Goozle coming into center field, so a lot of changes. Mike Sanandez at bat, coming in, of course, as the injury to Carl Dandleton forced Kevin McGillney to third base for the time being. He's going to ground that one right to, I believe that was right to Stokely Hathaway, and the throw made to Milky Goodbar.
No.
Certainly hope that Carl Dandleton does not have any sort of lingering injury. May have to get some rest for the next game. But Stokely Hathaway reads that one from Tom Phillips in the outfield. And Willie Dustis is going to see Pablo Longstroke for the first time. So Herzl Good comes out after having pitched 6 in the 3rd innings. If I look at his statistics, I believe that is fairly on par for Herzl Good. He actually has gone a little longer than that. His previous starts, he's pitched 60 in a 3rd inning for 9 different games. So again, tends to go closer to. I say this is about fair. This is just a little bit below average for him, but you know, 1 inning here, one out versus 2 outs of an inning. You know, it's about right. Seeing Pablo Longstroke. He pitches about 2 innings a game in his appearances, 10 appearances. And that's going to be popped up to Bottomley Samplemore for out number 2. Here in the bottom of the 7th is Bobson Dugnut back at the top of the lineup after Gonzalez having gotten the out. Longstroke has been one of the better pitches we've seen. He's only got a 1-1 when it comes to decisions. But his whip is 2.18, his ERA 9.1, But he's kind of coming to settle things down a little bit. He's going to allow 2 more runs, however, and Amalgamated Baseball Holdings will tie this one up. Here's Dean Westry. You know, I suppose it's an interesting move to make, putting Pablo Longstroke in. I feel that there are better pitches to put in there, but sliding in his bottomly Samplemore, as that is. Excuse me, Glenn. Pardon me. That was Dean Westry sliding. The Bobson Douglas sliding in with Mike Truck now to bat. It is 7-6. And Truck is going to ground that one right to Stokely Hathaway, ending the run. Well, 3 big runs for Amalgamated Baseball Holdings give them the lead yet again. It is now 7-6 as Boob Jenner takes the plate, the bottom of the order for them. It looks like Raul Chamberlain will come in at right field. Starting catcher playing outfield today. He is known to play right field, and not too out of character for him, but mostly we see him as catcher. And Tim Sandali is going to give up a home run to Industry. To Boob Jenner. That home run brought to you by Industry brand fragrances, perfumes, colognes, after the shaves, and of course anything else that smells good. If it's a fragrance you will like, then you'll find it within Industry. Found wherever smells are sold. And my goodness, that's going to be another home run for the Haberdashers to take the lead. Yet again, it is bottomly Samplemore. Well, Boob Jenner hit number 6. Samplemore hits only number 2. Here is Pablo Longstroke, perhaps. Well, he will continue to bat. Don't usually see Longstroke batting. In fact, he's only had 4 at-bats. But he will continue to pitch for the Haberdashers teams. His 5th at-bat is going to be another out, right to right field. Chamberlain makes the catch. And we're back to the top of the lineup with the Haberdashers back in the lead. And I must say, this game is not good for your heart if you are suffering from agita or any sort of croup or perhaps weakness of heart. So here's Stokely Hathaway, top of the 8th, 2 outs. 20 pitches for Tim Sandali. And he gets out of the inning, but 2 runs will score, giving the Haberdashers the lead once again. Pablo Longstroke will face Ray McSriff, 5th in the lineup, and Falwell Duncans, who was in as a pinch hitter, now comes out for Doug Lumps. Excuse me, I think I was bottomly Samplemore I said had the home run. I believe it was Falwell Duncans with the home run. And Tim Sandali, after the first out, coming out is Tony Smerick, a strong pinch hitter. He's got 3 home runs, batting .250, and that's going to be out number 1 to Whiny Jagoff. The tying run is on first base still. It is, in fact. As we see Mike Hernandez. Is on base, and that is going to be foul for 1-1. Another swing foul. 1-2 the count. Longstroke trying to control this game. That's another ball. And of course, Delmar Uptown is still available for the Haberdashers should they go for the save. And flipping the bat over his shoulder completely carelessly and without a worry of anyone behind him is, in fact, well, Pablo Longstroke is going to come out for Ezemiah Denove as he faces Glenn Allen Nixon, and Hernandez is on first. We have McSriff on second. And Glenn Allen Nixon, not known for hitting home runs, but he's batting .250 going to today's game. 11 hits from 44 at-bats. That's going to be foul and out of reach for the right fielder, Whiny Jagoff. 3-2 fills up the count for Ezemiah Denove. And that's going to be right to the glove of Stokely Hathaway. Makes the throw to first for out number 2. And in comes Willie Dustis. Now currently playing third base. Often see him at first base. Not the strongest batsman, but he's a very good fielder. And he's going to hit it right to Trevor Knockmore. Out number 3 is recorded. And in the top of the 9th, it is going to be Tony Smerick coming out. And Dwiggett Rochagel pitching for Amalgamated Baseball Holdings. And starting things off for the Haberdashers, look who's having a day, is Whiny Jagoff, 4 for 4. Very much responsible for this lead and much of the runs the Haberdashers have scored. He's going to make it 5 for 5. I think we were talking dandies of the day, then that is definitely Whiny Jagoff, going 5 for 5 today. What a day for him. Here's Nipples McBride, currently in at left field. 4th in the lineup. Nipples McBride, we don't really talk much about him. He hasn't really been playing too much for the Haberdashers. Only batting 133. 2 hits off 15 at-bats. Hasn't really seen much play. And he's going to be out for... There, here's Boz Blacksmith back up first baseman. So again, taking a look at some of these prospects, see maybe who can work their way to the side. That's going to be a potential fancy Dan double play. No, he's going to have to settle for the out at second. And Hubie Goozle one we normally seen starting, and he's going to single that one perhaps more as it gets past Mike Truck. And it's going to be a triple for Hubie Goozle. He's in, and the Haberdashers make it 9-7. Hubie Goozle, what a batsman. That is his 3rd triple of the season. Batting .365 going into today. 15 runs batted in. 6 home runs. 46 hits. And I guess that'd be 47. So Stump Phillips is the only one, I believe, that beats him in the hit department. But now we're seeing it is Boob Jenner going to get a single right to center field, and that's going to cause another run to score. And the lead for Amalgamated Baseball Holdings to overcome is getting higher and higher, and it is making it much more difficult for 3 outs away. The Haberdashers getting their first victory. They're tasting it very closely. They'd love to get a win over Amalgamated Baseball Holdings, having lost all 3 games early in the season at the Rockefeller Oval. That's going to be out number 3, and staring daggers. Here's making a good ball. Here's Todd Gonzalez. Well, at least we go to the top of the order for a chance to get these 3 runs to increase the game to 10 innings. But not that way. That's going to be popped up on the second pitch to Stokely Hathaway in the shortstop position in the infield. So 1 away, and Bobson Dugnut takes strike 1. Ezemiah Denove, as far as pitching goes for the Haberdashers, probably one of the better pitchers. 2 saves. He's looking for a 3rd one, I think, at this point. A whip under 1 of .797, which is fantastic. That's going to be out number 2. Goes right to, I believe that was the 3rd baseman. That was Boob Jenner making the throw to Lucky Goodball. Oh, excuse me, Gauze Blacksmith. Lucky Goodball is out of this game. And that's going to be the game. Out number 3, caught by Whiny Jagoff. The New York Haberdashers do in fact get their first win of the season against Amalgamated Baseball Holdings. They improve to 18-19. The ABH will put their 22nd loss on the board. They are guaranteed a losing season. Based on that, 15-22 is their record. That is it, the final score from here at Amalgamated Baseball grounds. The Amalgamated Baseball Holdings team, 7 runs off 12 hits with 1 error. They fall to the New York Haberdashers, 10 runs off 16 hits. So we have 4 home runs to report from the from the New York Haberdashers. Across the board, Whiny Jagoff, Murky Goodbar, Boob Jenner, and Foulball Duncans, each with one. Of course, the box scores will be in your local paper tomorrow afternoon. The win goes to Pablo Longstroke, with the save going to Ezemiah Denov, his third save of the season for the Haberdashers. The loss goes to Tim Sandeli, which will put his record down to 2-3. And of course, we thank our friends at the Honeywheat Tobacco Company for sponsoring the finest dandies of the day. Honeywheat Tobacco Company, the finest tobacco cigarettes with crops grown in the southern belts of the United States, the Carolinas, Kentuckiana, and the Tennessee Valley. You can always rely upon the Honeywheat Tobacco Company to grow their tobacco alongside the finest wheat products, as they remind you when you roll their cigarettes and you put the wheat in with the tobacco, the Honeywheat Tobacco Company would like to remind you to smoke wheat every day. They give us the third finest dandy of the day, Boob Jenner, 3 for 5 with a home run, 2 runs batted in. Lucky Goodbar was the second finest dandy, going 2 for 2 before being subbed out for Gauze Blacksmith. Got a home run and 2 runs batted in from that. But our finest dandy of the day, by far, is Whiny Jagoff. 3 runs batted in, a home run, a double. What a day for him. Whiny Jagoff, kudos to him, bully to him, our finest dandy of the day. Well, that's going to be it for us. That is going to be it for us here. Well, we do hope you join us tomorrow here on Radio WGY, as that is it for us. Left-hander Spruce Mouthman takes the mound for the Haberdashers, taking on the ace of Amalgamated Baseball Holdings, Onsen Sweeney, in what should be a rip-roaring second game of this series, looking for the Amalgamated Baseball Holdings looking to avenge this loss and end the season on a high note. Bit difficult to keep in high spirits, but of course, as we know, there's always a slogan we remember, and it's the credo of Amalgamated Baseball Holdings and the Amalgamated Factory. So again, I sign off with that. As always, this is Pip Cleverly here on Amalgamated Radio, WGY of Schenectady, New York. Remind you that ABH can always stand for always be hardworking. Good night.